Let's look at the molecular characteristics in molecular orbital theory from the chapter chemical bonding. So the molecular characteristics can be studied. How they can be studied? They can be studied from the arrangement or filling up of the electrons in the molecular orbitals. Right. So they can be studied, the molecular characteristics like bond order, molecular stability, bond dissociation energy, and bond length, magnetic properties. All these can be studied, all these molecular characteristics can be studied by the filling up of the electrons in the molecular orbitals according to their energy. So the molecular orbitals are filled with the electrons according to the energy based on all the principles, that is Pauli's exclusion principle, Hung's rule of maximum multiplicity, and Aufbau principle. So depending upon the filling up of the electrons, we can study few of these molecular characteristics. The first one is the bond order. Right. What is a bond order? The bond order is nothing but the number of the covalent bonds which is formed in between the two atoms. So it's number of the bonds which is formed in between the two atoms which are forming a molecule. Right? So it is given by the formula half into the number of electrons in bonding molecular orbitals minus the number of the electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals, or half of the difference in between the electrons in the bonding molecular orbital in the valence shell minus the number of the electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals in the valence shell. Okay, if number of electrons in the bonding molecular orbital is represented by Nb minus the number of electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbital is represented by Na. Right. So this is a formula for calculating the bond order of any molecule or ion also. Right. So the bond order can be 1, 2, or 3. That means the number of the bonds which is formed in between the two atoms in the molecule. For example, oxygen, diatomic, so double bond. The number of bond order will be 2. Nitrogen, so it's diatomic, again homonuclear. Number of bonds which is formed in between the two nitrogens is 3. So the bond order is 2 here, the bond order is 3, and H2 only 1. The number of bonds which is formed in between the two hydrogen atoms is 1 here. So it can be 1, 2, 3, or it can be a fraction also. It can be a fraction also. So the bond order is an important property which we can understand by the filling up of the electrons in the molecular orbitals according to their energies. So we can see the fractional bond order also. Yes, in a few molecules like ions, H2 plus or He2 plus. Right, so where we'll find half the bond order. Okay. So next is molecular stability. So the molecular stability can be understood or with reference to the bond order. Yes. We have already seen that the electrons which is entering into the bonding molecular orbital, that is the lower energy level, that results in the formation of BMO and ABMO. Simple. For example, I'm taking hydrogen here, H and H. So it results in the formation of two molecular orbitals, that is BMO and ABMO. The electron which is entering into the bonding molecular orbital, that means if the electron enters into this, it decreases the energy. If you can observe here, the bonding molecule, this is atomic orbital, this is a one atomic orbital. See. Here the electron, the energy of this bonding molecular orbital is lower in energy than that of the corresponding atomic orbitals, right? So the electron which is entering into the bonding molecular orbital will definitely lower the energy of the system, and thus it will stabilize the system. So that means it will increase the stability of the molecule by decreasing the energy, right? Decreasing the energy, so it stabilizes. And on the other hand, the electron which is entering into this anti-bonding molecular orbital will increase the energy of the system. You can see that this anti-bonding molecular orbital is higher in energy when compared to that is any of the two atomic orbitals. So the electron which will enter into this ABMO will definitely increase the energy of the system, thereby it lowers the stability of the molecule. Right? So if we can say that the number of electrons in the bonding molecular orbital is more than the number of the electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbital, it will stabilize the molecule. So the molecule will be stable with the positive bond order. Right? So erase this like this way. Positive bond order. If suppose number of bonding molecular orbitals is less or equal to the number of electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbital, that means number of electrons in this orbital is equal to or more than, then it will be unstable, definitely unstable, right? Why will it form actually? Doesn't form itself. With 0, that means electrons are same here, so the bond order is 0, it will nullify. With 0, or negative bond, right? Yes. The 0 or negative bond. So the molecule will be formed in such a way that always the number of electrons in the bonding molecular orbital will be more than the number of electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals, because it results in the stability of the system. Otherwise, a molecule will not be formed. There is no point in forming a molecule. The next is bond dissociation energy. Yes. Here, the stability of the molecule can also be explained based on the bond dissociation energy. So we are in my previous slide, I've explained the stability of the molecule based on the bond order, right? The more the bond order, the more is the stability of the molecule. And here, the bond dissociation energy is directly proportional to the bond order. So bond order is directly proportional to what? Bond dissociation energy. That's right. If the bond order is more, then definitely the bond dissociation energy will be more. That means the amount of energy required to break the bond will be more. See, right? So, for example, I have the same example, that N2, where it is a triple bond, O2, where it is a single bond. Here the bond order is 3. Here the bond order is 2 here. And so the bond dissociation energy of N2 should be more than O2. So in a logical way, also the amount of energy which is required to break 3 bonds will be more than the energy which is required to break 2 bonds, right? So the bond dissociation energy for this is 945 kilojoules per mole, and for oxygen it is 495. See how vast the difference is, right? So bond order is directly proportional to the bond dissociation energy. So we can say that the stability of the molecule, in other words, is also can be explained based on bond dissociation energy, where it is directly proportional to bond order and also directly proportional to the bond dissociation energy. That means the more the bond order, the more stability, or more the bond dissociation energy, the more the stability of the molecule. Right. Next is bond length. Yes, so bond length again is inversely proportional to the bond order. Simple. So bond order is inversely proportional to what? Bond length. Right. The more the bond order, for example, N2 here, N triple bond, O2 here, O double bond, so triple bond will be less. The bond length will be less here. So bond length of oxygen will be more than bond length of nitrogen, because bond energy or bond dissociation energy for nitrogen is more than bond dissociation energy for oxygen. So just inversely proportional. Here, the bond dissociation energy is more for nitrogen, bond dissociation energy is more for nitrogen. So bond length will be less. Here, the bond dissociation energy is less, the bond length will be more for oxygen. That's just the reverse of bond. So we can explain the stability of the molecule based on the bond order, based on the bond dissociation energy, based on the bond length. So what about the magnetic properties? Yes, magnetic properties can also be explained based on the number of unpaired electrons here. right? It can be diamagnetic or paramagnetic, we know that, right? So here, based on unpaired electrons, we can explain the magnetic properties. With non-paired electrons, no magnetism, no, I mean, it shows diamagnetic behavior. If it has one or more unpaired electrons, then what? It shows paramagnetic nature. So, and also the extent of paramagnetism is directly proportional to the number of unpaired electrons. So paramagnetism is, well, the extent of paramagnetism is directly proportional to what? The number of unpaired electrons. So here, to sum up, we have seen how these molecular characteristics can be explained based on the filling up of the electrons in the increasing order of the energy of the molecular orbitals. We have seen that the bond order can be calculated with the help of the formula half into the number of electrons in bonding molecular orbitals minus the number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbitals, and bond order was directly proportional to the stability. That means the more the bond order, the more the stable, directly proportional to the bond dissociation energy and inversely proportional to the bond length. And next is magnetic properties. If there is an unpaired electron, it is paramagnetic, and non-paired electrons, it is diamagnetic. So if you like my video, please do like, share, and subscribe my channel. The whole chapter of chemical bonding for BSc first year has been explained or discussed on my YouTube channel, and the details of this playlist has been given under the description box below. Yes, you can go through it.